their own terms. Out of any of the Learn to Code platforms, these guys have cracked the code and realized that boredom isn't a personality flaw. Boot.dev is hands-on right from the start. It's built like an RPG. You're earning XP, you're leveling up, you're fighting bosses, clearing quests, and you're solving real back-end development problems instead of just watching somebody else type. And when you hit a wall, you can talk to Boots, their Bear Wizard AI tutor that's programmed not to just dump answers on you and move on, but instead ask follow-up questions and nudge you back on track so you actually understand what you're building. They also added the training grounds, which is basically infinite practice. If something's not clicking for you, you can just grind challenges until it does and then keep moving. All of the lessons on this website are free to read and watch. I try to make sure that everybody understands this. You guys can go and demo basically the entire thing if you wanted to. You could go learn all of this on your own. All of the information is free for you. You can even demo some of their interactive parts. Paid just unlocks the full hands-on coding, the AI help, and the progress tracking. So just go check it out. If you want to give it a try, go to boot.dev and use code LegendaryDrops to get 25% off your first entire year on an annual plan. The link, the code, and the QR are all on screen, and also there's going to be a link in the description down below. Go and check them out. I don't really talk about PlayStation on this channel because I think to most people, they look fine. PlayStation is still the most dominant premium console. It's outselling the Xbox by a ridiculous margin, something like 3-1 or something like that.
I guess.
At this point, revenue-wise, it almost doesn't even matter whether it's first-party or third-party because in the console space, the money is still coming to them either way. Their single-player games still usually find financial success even when there's controversy or skepticism. I mean, even for all of the ranting over Ghost of Yotai, I personally wasn't a fan of the game, but it still ended up turning a profit and
that's
even
fair.
kept pace with Ghost of Tsushima, or at least that's what they say. So I think that PlayStation just hasn't really come up much in the conversation around failing publishers because the brand
that's a
has been
sick
so
assassination
dominant for so long that I think a lot of people treat them like they're untouchable. But the more that I think about it, the more I start to wonder if the reason why people haven't really noticed PlayStation's decline is because, one, the reputation is covered for them, and two, because everybody else's failures have been so loud and so much more public. But consistently and almost pathologically, PlayStation has been declining too. It's just been quieter, well, until recently. PlayStation CEO Hermen Hulst sent an email to employees listing their recent successes. Ghost of Yotai and Death Stranding on the single-player side, with Helldivers 2 and MLB The Show held up as their live service wins for engagement and revenue, celebrating the company's successes before sliding in the dagger. At the same time, we are operating...
What is MLB The Show? I've never heard of that. MLB Show? Oh. Major League Baseball. Well, I don't know if that... See, the problem with sports games, the problem with sports in general, is it's got such a wide audience already that it would be really easy to make a profit on this style of game that are live service like this. Like, I don't see how that could fail. Like, there are people who who are still buying what's that NFL game? Madden NFL. And like, the games have just declined since the 2000, but people are still buying them every single year. Most of the 2K games that specialize in sports, there are people, they love the game. There's no problem with that. They can love the games all they want, but they definitely had a quality decline in the last 10 years or so. Oh, more as well. But these people put in hours and hours. Also, the FIFA games, those games are not my favorite types of games, and I feel that they're too toxic. But people who like to play them, they can play them, and I think that's great. So there's definitely a large audience for those games. So I don't know if that could just be considered a win. Like, it's a guarantee, especially in a place like Japan and America. Baseball is big in both of these places. I don't know about the rest of the world, but I know that baseball is really, really big. The main reason that I used to watch baseball was to practice statistics. It's a good way to teach yourself statistics. and understanding averages and stuff like that. But I digress here with my insanity.
In an increasingly challenging industry environment, rising development costs, slowed industry growth, changing player behavior, and broader economic headwinds are making it harder to build games sustainably. To navigate this reality, we need to continue adapting and evolving. We have taken a closer look at our business to ensure that we're delivering today while still well positioned for the future. As a result, we'll be closing Bluepoint Games in March. That's one way to make an announcement. Don't you guys just love the way that these CEOs talk? PlayStation destroyed the studio through sheer incompetence. Bluepoint did not become unsustainable. Sony made them unsustainable. They made themselves unsustainable. They didn't have to buy Bluepoint. They didn't need to. Sony was already outsourcing
Just shoot
remakes
yourself
to
in the
them.
foot while you're at
Bluepoint
it.
did the Demon Souls and Shadow of Colossus remakes as outsourced work, and they did great. They could have just kept it at that. But of course, they couldn't. They decided they wanted to scale up. So they buy Bluepoint in 2021, and they position them as the specialist for remakes and remasters. The idea of being able to offload your re-releases to Bluepoint so you can let your core studios focus on new IP and mainline franchises. Well, at least that was the plan until they reportedly ruined their relationship with From Software, taking Bloodborne off of the table, leaving them with nothing but remasters and nothing else to work on. PlayStation clearly assumed that the market was ready for a flood of remasters and remakes, and while one of those remakes definitely would have done well, it just isn't. That's the first part of their problem. The market has been really lukewarm when it comes to a lot of these games, and it sure as the hell does not justify them buying an entire studio to feed it. Hell, that was proven in just a matter of, a couple of years, as PlayStation was turned into a living meme for re-releasing the same games over and over again while also having no new games to show for it.
Oh my God.
Now, beyond that, these guys didn't even commit to their own plan, because this entire deal after Bloodborne got pulled was Sony dragging Bluepoint into their live service push, which is the real reason why.
So you take a studio that is specializing in remakes and remaster. People are begging for you to remaster Bloodborne. Like, I'm sure that if I typed in who wants a remaster of Bloodborne, and I'm sure there's at least one person I know in my chat who would be chomping at the bit for it. And I know that there's probably a few more in there, but I know one person in particular here. Yes, it's Absolute Mochi, who would absolutely break spines to get a remaster. And that's not hyperbole. And so you remove them from that. You put them on the track for live service games, which is something that they don't specialize in. It's kind of like if I went to Tyson's chicken nuggets department and went, "Hey, can you make hamburger?" They do not specialize in hamburger. It is not the same process. It is a whole different system. And then expect them to do that. Actually, there have been several instances where government and corporations do that exact same thing, just like this. And that's insane. Like, what are you doing? I just saw this thing about a defense contractor who got who were supposed to be making the electric fleet of US trucks, of mail trucks. Heck, most of those trucks are older than me at this point. Like, they're from the 70s. And it's like, they're pre-internet. They're before even the internet existed. It's like, oh my God. And it's like they couldn't even deliver those. And it's like they don't make the delivery trucks, but they make all these war machines. But it's like they don't have a facility for this. What was anybody thinking? Like, we could have just hired Ford or someone else to make them, but we didn't. And now we're seeing them do this with, well, let's just take a studio that has nothing and, oh, well, they failed at this. Let's fire all of them. What? That's insane.
This studio ended up on the chopping block. This studio is yet another victim of one of the weirdest campaigns of driving PlayStation off of a cliff. That campaign was the 12 live service games by 2026, proposed just a few years ago, and it was borderline insane. Most of these projects were supposed to be new IP, and it's all ended in failure, being the heart of PlayStation's recent decline. They released Concord, which became one of the most high-profile media failures in history.
Concord.
A huge, expensive game that only sold around 25,000 copies, got shut down in its first week, and took the studio down with it.
It just did not look fun for me.
Symbol for failed games in the future. Hell, it even has its own genre now. After that, everything started getting pulled off.
Its own genre is crazy.
Service game, Naughty Dog's Last of Us Online, Insomniac's Spider-Man Online, Twisted Metal, plus a bunch of other unannounced games, and every one of those cancellations was just turning into more money wasted. All we're left with now is the Horizon MMO with NCSoft, Helldivers 2, Horizon Hunters Gathering, Fair Games, and Marathon.
So, I don't want to see Marathon fail, but I saw that Marathon did steal artwork and stuff like that from an artist, and I believe Legendary Drops even talked about that. So I'm not going to be getting the game. There's no way that I will buy it. There's no way that I will play it on this channel. If someone gifts it to me, maybe I'll play it, but it's immediately coming off the machine. I don't really like first-person shooters. I very much enjoy Battlefield 6. There's just one game mode in there that I love to play. And I have military friends who like to play with me. So that's pretty much the only reason I play that FPS. And I'm not playing it competitively. That's the other thing, too. I have no interest in playing FPSs competitively. I wouldn't mind playing that game with Mochi. I think she'd very much enjoy it too. But otherwise, not really my cup of tea. I prefer like things like No Man's Sky if I'm going to be in FPSs. The only thing I don't like is going into PvP in it. But the Division, I like Division 1 and 2. Those are really fun. But you feel attacked? Or what? What happened? Who attacked you? Me? Anyways,
We don't really know what's going to happen with that game. Marathon. It looks like after the initial backlash, Bungie really locked in. Jury's out on whether or not that game lands or not. Horizon MMO, that's not even worth talking about. Fair Games is trying to do the whole...
Horizon MMO. No, why are we doing a Horizon MMO? Like, I kind of like the idea as if like you release a third one where you can switch between characters for different types of infiltrations. Because I really like the Monster Hunter aspect of the first and second game. Oh, no Bloodborne? Yeah, no, Bloodborne is definitely an attack. Totally won't parry anything to death again.
Billionaires are stealing everything from us messaging in a live service game with microtransactions, so I'm sure that one's going to work out. Hunter's Gathering doesn't look awful mechanically, but the cast looks like it was designed by HR. Yet another one of these hero-based games with no aspirational characters. Though I do appreciate their penchant for realism with old Sugar Legs, it is pretty accurate to have a 400-pound woman lose a leg to diabetes. So really, that just leaves Helldivers 2. PlayStation sacrificed billions of dollars in multiple studios for one moderately successful live service game. A moderately successful live service game that they likely were not betting on. One that they nearly assassinated through retroactively region locking its purchase and also wanting to force people into PlayStation logins to be able to boost their subscriber numbers for their shareholders. But if we are generous and we say that Marathon succeeds as well, that means that these guys are going to go 2 out of 10 at a low average, especially considering PlayStation's.
The other problem here with live service games is there really isn't a large player base for them. They're like, yes, there's a large player base, but there isn't like you're competing with yourself to try and get people over to other ones. All right, we have ads coming up, so I'm going to start playing ads again here. We'll be right back. See you guys in a minute 30. Yeah, Warframe, though, is established.